आज जो देलेनी अपन बसते
आज देवी क्लास
से जो बस रे देले तो कहले इवनिंग 4:05 आड़ो से टिके चेक कर दिया पिला सब बस चलते तो बोलते रिफंड करना
तो ये गुट्टे तो चल 4 बजे 5 4
ओके
Good afternoon. Let's start the topic today. It is on FATF, Financial Action Task Force. Fine. It is in much news because recently Pakistan, which was under this grey list, was removed from the list. It is a global money laundering and terrorist financing watchdog. What is money laundering? Money laundering is the illegal transfer of money or illegal change of money from black money to white money. And terror funding is the activity through which some groups, some individuals, some countries, so they try to promote terrorists. Okay, that's called terror funding. Money laundering and terror funding. This FATF, so it acts as the watchdog of money laundering and terror funding. Okay. The intergovernmental body set international standards that aim to prevent those illegal activity and the harm they cause to society. Because through this money laundering and terror funding, harm is caused to the society. That is why this group try to check the money laundering and terror funding activity because they have their impact on the society. As a policy making body, the FATF work to generate necessary political will to bring about national legislative and regulatory reforms in these areas. Okay. Okay. So the this also ensures that the countries make legislation to make law in their own country which can check this money laundering and terror funding activities. Fine. It was established in 1989 during the G7 summit held at Paris. Okay, as it is called, it is a G7 initiative, and at the Paris G7 summit in 1989 it was established. G7 is the group which is the group of developed countries, industrially advanced, okay, financially sound. So they decided to create a group which will check money laundering and terror funding activity. Okay. Headquarters is Secretariat of Organization of Economics, OECD headquarters in Paris. Okay, OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. This FATF headquarters is located in the OECD headquarters at Paris. The founding of FATF Secretariat and other service is provided by the FATF annual budget to which members contribute. Okay, the member of FATF they contribute, and so that led to the creation of the global body which will check on money laundering and terror funding activity. Okay. Moving forward, FATF logo. Initially, its objective was to examine and develop measures to combat money laundering. After 1911 attack on the US, the FATF in 2001 expanded its mandate to incorporate efforts to combat terrorist financing. Earlier, it was only working for against money laundering, but after the attack on WTC, World Trade Center in USA, so terror funding also come under its purview. Okay. It was earlier working only for the money laundering activity, but with the attack on American World Trade Center, it was decided to expand its sphere of activity to terror funding also. So it also became the watchdog of terror funding. Apart from money laundering, it also started working for terror funding, against terror funding, how to check terror funding, okay, apart from money laundering. Fine. In April 2012, it added effort to counter the financing of proliferation of weapons of mass destruction also. Okay, with passage of time, okay, so its sphere of activity has been expanded, and with each year its activities being expanded to cover new domains. Fine. The FATF has developed the FATF recommendations or FATF standards which ensure a coordinated global response to prevent organized crime, corruption and terrorism. They help authority to go after the money of criminals dealing with illegal drugs, human trafficking and other crimes. Even human trafficking also comes under okay. They help authority to go after the money of criminals dealing with illegal drugs even, and human trafficking which has right now also been associated with money laundering activity as well as other crimes. That means initially created for money laundering activity, the FATF has started expanding its sphere of activity to terror funding, to checking on the drugs money, on human trafficking, and other such crimes having international ramification. Other activity which has its negative international ramification are also being brought under the purview of FATF. Okay. Initially, its objective was to examine and develop measures to combat money laundering. Okay. So, it also assessed the strength of a country's anti-money laundering and anti-terror financing framework. It does not go by individual cases. So, countries overall. Okay. So, it go for countries overall projection of how it is coping with the system. Okay, how it is coping with the system. Not any individual cases, but different cases as a holistic manner it is dealt with. Okay. The FATF plenary is the decision making body of FATF. It meets 3 times per year. Or the FATF plenary meets triannually in February, June and October to take stock of mutual evaluation report of the countries under review, because it put countries under review regarding terror funding, money laundering activity. So thrice in a year it meets either to add country or to make the country free from this list which it globally publishes, branding country as promoter of terrorism and money laundering or not. This is what. Fine. So this way, so meeting thrice in a year, it ensures that the country are under constant review. Okay. And if there is scope for improvement, let the country try for it. Okay. If not, then brand it as a country promoting terrorism, terror funding, etc. activities. As of today, it is 39 member body representing most official major financial centers in all parts of the globe. Out of 39 members, there are 2 regional organizations, the European Commission and the Gulf Cooperation Council. Countries that are members of FATF includes, so who are the members? Argentina, Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, China, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hong Kong, Ireland, Iceland, India, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Luxembourg, Malaysia, Mexico, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Portugal, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, South Africa, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Turkey, UK and USA. So this is the broad membership of this group acting against when you can work on it. So try for overcome the situation and take strong action against money laundering and terror funding activities with such a big support spread over the entire globe. See, the country 13 member of the FATF. FATF currently comprises 37 members jurisdictions and 2 regional organizations like the European Union and the Gulf Cooperation Council. The members, as I told, okay. So includes European Union and the Gulf Cooperation Council as its member. Observers, Indonesia is the only observer country of FATF. Some important organizations that have observer status with FATF includes ADB, Asian Development Bank, IMF, International Organization for Security Commission, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development OECD, United Nations Office on Drug and Crime, United Nations, so this is office not offense, so slight error in this, so ensure this, make it error free. So United Nations office not offense. This is the UN office on drug and crimes. United Nations Counter-Terrorism Committee, Executive Director and World Bank are the members of FATF. Because once they want to take action, it should be in coordination of all, so action can be taken. So that is why, so they make the membership broad-based. Broad-based membership can only ensure that this group is acting, okay, and World Customs Organization are the members of this particular group. India and FATF, India joined this observer status in 2006 and became full-fledged member in 2010. India is also a member of its original partner, the Asia Pacific group and the Eurasian group. Okay. List of the FATF, grey list. The grey list includes countries that are considered as safe haven for supporting terror funding and money laundering, like Pakistan, which was under the grey list for a long period before being recently removed from the list after it took tangible steps for improving the situation. Fine. The grey country are designated as jurisdictions under increased monitoring because they are under constant increased monitoring of FATF, because they know very well that the FATF scrutiny is over them and they will do it, okay. If it is able to comply this, then if it is unable to comply, then the condition will carry on. Okay, so that is this country, if they are doing, okay, the grey country are designated as jurisdictions under increased monitoring, working with FATF to counter criminal financial activities. Recently, FATF removed Pakistan from the grey list, allowing Pakistan's significant progress in checking money laundering and terror funding. The country was removed from the list after 4 years. It was first put on the list in 2008, removed in 2009, and before again being added in 2018, it remained under increased monitoring from 2012 to 2015. India agreed to the decision to take Pakistan off the list, the latter had submitted documentary evidence of its action against designated terrorists. Blacklist. The blacklist includes non-cooperative countries or terrorists that support terror funding and money laundering activities. It means countries designated as high-risk jurisdictions subject to call of action. As of now, Iran, North Korea, and Myanmar are the three blacklisted countries of FATF. Remember these three countries: Iran, North Korea, and Myanmar, under the military rule, are the countries under the blacklist of FATF. Pakistan was on the grey list, not the blacklist. But these three countries were under the blacklist of. Okay. Okay. Myanmar has been recently added to the list due to action by the military leadership after the 2021 coup. Okay. Okay, that is the issue for which, after the military takeover by overthrowing the elected government in Myanmar, so it was brought under the FATF's blacklist. Putting the country in the blacklist deprives the country from taking any international support in finance. Okay. So once a country is on the blacklist, it becomes very difficult to access finance from the international institutions or international financial institutions. That is the biggest limitation on the country. Okay. Consequence of being enlisted in the FATF list: the enlisted countries are subject to economic sanction from financial institutions affiliated to FATF like World Bank, IMF, ADB, etc. because they are also part of IMF, World Bank, ADB are part of FATF. So the country is unable to get any support from these financial institutions. Fine. Because they are under the FATF watch list, so it is a ban on them to get any support internationally from international financial institutions. Fine. Then problem in getting loans from financial institutions and countries, reduction in international trade, international boycott. It may also affect capital inflow, foreign direct investment, and portfolio inflow to the country will be restricted because they are on the scanner. So when a country is on the international scanner, very few agree to provide it. Fine. When the country is under international scanner, very few countries agreed to provide its finance to it. So this is why the country faces hardship in accessing international funding. Okay, because it is under the supervision of FATF. Okay. It may also affect capital inflow to the country. Why? Because country will not agree to provide it with capitals. The reason being, they know very well that this country is under international scanner. If the country is under international scanner, then how it will get support from other countries and other financial institutions? So that is why. So it is not allowed to access funding from international agencies. It is strictly prohibited. सारी कथा है. It may affect capital inflow, FDI and FII to the country. Fine. So the FATF is in news because over the periods it has strengthened its effects or its action against the country who are engaged in these international activities like money laundering and terror funding. Fine. और देख सारे तो पठे देख सारे देली बाबू मत देली गोटे देखिए देदेली ना अरे बाबू देश के तुम बोले कौ खाता अच्छे उसके साथ देना मत प्रिंट कर देखी दी जिन ଆପଣ ତାକୁ ବୁଝେଇ ପାରିବେ ଆପଣ ତାକୁ ବୁଝେଇ ପାରିବେ ଭୁଲଟେ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ହଁ କେମିତି ବୁଝିବ ଆପଣ ତାକୁ ଖାତା କିଭଳି ପରୀକ୍ଷା କଲେଣି ଏମିତି କେମିତି ବୁଝିବ ଖାତାଟା ଯେମିତି ଭଲ ଚାଲିଛି ଦେଖିବେ ସିଏ ମୁଁ କ'ଣ କଥା ହେବି କହିବ ନା ଆପଣ ତାକୁ ପିଲାକୁ ଭୁଲ କଲେ ଖେଳୁଛନ୍ତି ସେଠି ଆଉ ପିଲା କରିବ ନା ସେ ଦେଇଦେଲେ ହେଇଯାନ୍ତା ନା ଖାତା ଦେଖିବା ପାଇଁ ସବୁ ଟିଚର ଗୋଟେ ଖାତା ଟିଚର ବସେଇ 15 ମିନିଟ୍ ଦେଖିଦେବ ମୋତେ ସେ ଯିଏ ଆଜି ଖାତା ଦେଲା ମୁଁ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ଦେଖି ଦେଇଦେଲି ଦେବେ ପଠେଇଦେବ ଗୋଟେ ଖାତା ତ ଦେଇଦେବ ପଠେଇଦେବ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଏବେ ଦିଏ ମୋତେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ମୁଁ ତାକୁ ଦେଖିଦେବି ପଲ୍ଟିଟା ଦିଏ ମୁଁ ଦେଖିଥିଲି କହିଲି ଆଜି ପଠାଇଯିବ ଆପଣ 30 ମିନିଟ୍ ହେଲ୍ଡ ଅପ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ ବସ୍ରେ ପଠେଇବା ଜିନିଷ ଏବେ କେତେଟା ହେଲା କେତେଟା ବାଜିଛି ଏବେ ଆପଣ 4:30ରେ ବସ୍ରେ ପଠେଇବେ ରେଡ଼ି କରନ୍ତୁ ମୋତେ ଖାତାଟା ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ